boat is still on display, but he didn't have any communication devices where he could, like, you know, you're 70 miles from Santa Cruz after a week, and you call the Coast Guard and they're going to come rescue you. Now, if you're going to do this, do it for real or don't do it at all. All right? The idea of us rescuing you.
That's a cold-hearted. Listen to the cruel libertarians. It's sickening. Terrible. Hey, what's a sea anchor? I don't know what that is. I mean, because obviously you can't have like 1,500 feet of chain on a kayak to lower an anchor to the seafloor.
No? I mean,
there are places where the sea is miles deep.
Right.
It seems to be like a pouch that I guess just fills up with water and it sinks. So it's like a foldable.
Keeps you in one spot.
Yeah.
Keeps you from flying up in the air? But how? Keeps you in one spot? How?
A week into his journey, he's 70 miles from Santa Cruz. It is.
So 225 miles would have been 10%. So not even a third of a percent. I give up. This is tiring. There's rough seas.
A beginner's guide to anchoring a kayak at sea is 35 minutes long.
I don't know. You're going to do something crazy, you need to be out on your own. If you're going to do that extreme skiing where you go off the trails and everything like that and go down a mountain on your own, hey, you're on your own.
If you succeed, we write songs about you. If you fail, you get roasted. That's
the deal. Yeah, that's part of it. It comes with the gig.
Or eaten by bears or sharks or something. Don't tell me how courageous you are if you got the Coast Guard standing by.
Not going to be eaten by a bear. 70 miles from Santa Cruz.
Bear shark. I'm talking about the bear shark.
Frightening bear shark. This conversation with Josh Rogan is guaranteed to be good. Last time we had him on, he was really good, and that was before he got his book out, which is about the battle between the United States and China, which is really only the most important story in the world for probably the next 100 to 1,000 years. So stay tuned for that. It's on the way.
Armstrong and Getty.
This is Lincoln's breaking news and severe weather station. KFOR, Lincoln, and online at KFORnow.com.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The CEO of the Colonial Pipeline is on Capitol Hill testifying before the Senate Homeland Security Committee about last month's cyber attack. ABC's Elizabeth Schulte is in Washington with more.
In testimony to the Senate Homeland Security Committee, Colonial Pipeline CEO Joe Blount defended his decision to pay the hacking group DarkSide $4.4 million in ransom.
It was the hardest decision I've made in my 39 years in the energy industry, and I know how critical our pipeline is to the country, and I put the interests of the country first.
The Justice Department announced Monday it had recovered about $2.3 million of the ransom payment, which was made using Bitcoin. Elizabeth Schulte, ABC News, Washington.
A transnational criminal network disrupted by the FBI. The criminals thought they were using an encrypted messaging app to communicate with one another. It turns out the system was developed by the FBI, and it let agents read millions of lines of communication. The result?
$48 million in cash and cryptocurrencies, along with hundreds of firearms and more than 50 luxury cars seized. A stunning 32 tons of cocaine and other drugs also confiscated. The FBI secretly got into communications business, distributing more than 12,000 devices to more than 300 criminal syndicates operating in more than 100 countries.
ABC News Chief Law and Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas. The Bush continues to vaccinate 70% of adults in the U.S. with at least one dose of a coronavirus vaccine by the 4th of July, but some states are lagging behind.
Southern states like Mississippi, Alabama, and Louisiana showed the challenge officials face in states with the lowest vaccination rates in the country. Cases in Alabama rising nearly 90% in the last 2 weeks.
ABC's Marcus Moore. Bureau of Labor Statistics shows the number of job openings in the U.S. is at an all-time high, 9.3 million. You're listening to ABC News.
I struggled with symptoms like frequent gas and stomach pain for years.
I was bloated all the time with daily diarrhea.
At first, I thought it was what I was eating.
I kept thinking it was stomach issues.
So I did my research and talked to my doctor, and we finally uncovered the truth.
It was actually EPI. Exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, is a condition where your pancreas is unable to help break down your food.
It can lead to symptoms like diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools.
And EPI symptoms can be confused with those of other common digestive conditions, like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, and celiac disease.
So getting to the right diagnosis meant